Yeah.
Michigan State Trooper Gary Guild was patrolling US 31 Monday morning when he clocked a motorcyclist going 92 miles an hour.
Activated my overhead lights, got behind the motorcycle with about 2-3 car lengths. He pulled over to the shoulder, slowed down briefly, then sped away at a high rate of speed.
Guild followed the driver to the Niles Buchanan exit. 20-year-old Michael Barber lost control and crashed. When Guild approached him, he didn't listen. That's when police say the two got into a physical altercation.
Trying to secure him and secure my duty weapon into my holster, put it into the holster, and I'm on top of him trying to get his hands and get him in handcuffs.
While restraining Barber, Guild saw 19-year-old Travis Weiss sprinting towards him, but not to help.
And next thing I know, I'm in full chokehold. He comes behind me and puts his elbow around my neck, and then he wrenches me back about 5 to 10 feet.
That's when Jerry Burnham happened to be driving by.
While we were on our way down the bypass, we're headed towards Niles to get our taxes done. We came up on this scene. There was a motorcycle laying on the side of the road and a squad car. And then my wife started yelling that a police officer needed help and told me to stop and help.
Burnham and another man pulled Wise off the trooper. They held him until help arrived. Burnham says he didn't think twice about helping.
I really was still kind of in shock that I even got out to do something. I just did it. He was in need of help. And that's what we should do.
Tonight, a little girl with a story to inspire all of us. Michaela Rijai was at a restaurant in New Jersey with her mom. Her father, a police officer, killed in the line of duty, used to come here. So when another officer stopped in, the 8-year-old took charge.
Police officer walked in and I said hello, and then we had a little tiny conversation. And then I whispered in Mommy's ear if we could pay for his dinner.
She's very open and receptive to law enforcement. She sees them and her eyes light up, and I love that.
And when we found out about that, we just felt that, you know, it just touched us all.
Now, the police department was so moved by what Michaela did, they started a GoFundMe page for her education, and the chief asked her to lead the Memorial Day parade next month. Little girl paying it forward.
Hello, officer down outside Tonopah. Come in, please. This is a civilian.
Early Thursday morning, an Arizona state trooper arrived at the scene of this violent wreck near Phoenix. The officer, Edward Anderson, found a female victim who had been ejected from the car. She would later die at the hospital.
As the trooper exited his vehicle and began to lay out flares, it appears at this point that he was ambushed by the suspect.
Anderson was shot at least once near the shoulder and suddenly found himself in a fight for his life.
The suspect is getting the better of the trooper and is on top of him and striking the trooper's head on the pavement.
That's when a man on his way to California pulled his car over. The trooper tells the driver he needs help. The passerby grabs the gun from his truck and shoots the attacker after police say the suspect ignored several commands to stand down.
He's in real bad shape. Please send air support.
Another passerby also stops to help the wounded officer. He gets inside the trooper's patrol car and radios for help.
To the civilian on the GPS trooper's radio, and if you can hear me, I need you to let me know where the suspect is.
He's been shot by the passerby. He's laying right next to the officer.
The trooper was airlifted to a hospital and is expected to survive. Police say the Good Samaritan who opened fire is owed a debt of gratitude.
I would just say that at this point, thank you, because I don't know that my trooper would be alive today without his assistance.
Caught on camera, a fast food hero in Doral, Florida. Worker spotted jumping out of the drive-through window at a McDonald's after noticing a woman having a medical emergency. He helped her frightened kids while another worker assisted in CPR until help arrived. The woman they helped to save was an off-duty police officer, it turns out.
He just got out of the car and started beating the officer. Started beating him, and then he got on top of him and beating him.
Polk County Deputy Mike Walsh is down on the ground. This man, 32-year-old Corey Johnson, is beating him with his bare hands.
When I see people fighting a police officer or whatever, I'm going to stop and help.
And that's exactly what 54-year-old George Cooper did Sunday morning here near the intersection of Winter Lake Road and Camellia Road in Winter Haven. This despite having an injured leg.
I wasn't even thinking about my pain. I wasn't thinking about hurting.
The deputy says he saw Johnson run a nearby stop sign, almost hitting the deputy. That's when Walsh pulled him over. Johnson allegedly ripped the deputy's headset off, broke his taser, and had Walsh pinned to the ground, straddling him. As the deputy secured his gun, Cooper came running.
Then he took off running, and I started chasing him.
That's when this man pulled over to help. Antonio Velasquez ended up tripping Johnson.
When he sees me, he tries to run. So when he tries to run, I punch him and I kick him. And he go down to the ground.
Finally, retired law enforcement officer Christopher Carver also pulled over and ran to help.
Him and the other guy rolling around in the center median. By the time I got out of my car, they had crossed the westbound lanes.
It took all four men to keep Johnson on the ground and get him cuffed. The three who helped Deputy Walsh being hailed heroes tonight by Sheriff Grady Judd.
I feel good, but I'm just trying to help.
I'm not out to look for no hero stuff, none of this stuff. All I wanted to do was just help that officer because that boy would have killed him.
I can't even imagine. This is the only thing I know how to help is to feed. And I want you guys to be hydrated and not be hungry. And I want you to go home to your families because I want my dad to come home to me and I want my friends to come home to me. And I'm sorry. And I'm here for you all. I don't know how else to help or what else to do.
Your prayers are all with you.
Thank you. And I will be praying.
Thank you.
Please go home to your family.
Both policemen, both with families in mourning tonight, including their law enforcement community and all of the families here in Des Moines. Extremely sad that this took place today.
The delivery arrived just before 11:30.
there wasn't a lot of fanfare, just a lot of heartfelt appreciation for a job well done, daily. Employees of Meridian Bioscience just around the corner wanted their village police officers to know how much they appreciate their professionalism and dedication in these very dark days for law enforcement. Officers on this department are here because they want to be. Spencer Bischoff was born just about a mile away.
The community's outstanding. They reach out every day. It doesn't take a tragic event for them to reach out to us. They reach out every day to us. We put the uniform on, we come to work for one single goal, is to make a difference.
Here, that difference is noticed, and people want their cops to know. So the two ladies from Meridian went around another corner to Just Kewen and picked up a barbecue feast with all the fixins.
When you look at police officers surrounding people and really a hedge of protection for them, or making a stop in a traffic situation, I still feel like those folks are just so giving, and it just struck me that maybe we just don't let them know that often enough, how much we appreciate and need that protection.
And when these officers see how bad it can be in other places, it reinforces there's no place like home.
We hurt for them, and, we feel their pain, but, I think we already appreciate it, but it gives us a better appreciation of this community and what they do for us.
Hey, you're going to be up next.
Things have slowed down for the night. But around lunchtime, Ashley Calvert was behind the register, as busy as she's been since this Domino's opened 2 months ago.
If it makes your day, it makes your day.
She told her husband recently she was buying lunch for the next police officer she saw.
I can take the 5 seconds to pay for somebody else's food, and it sounded like he was just on a call too.
It's halfway through my shift. It's just a busy shift and just hungry. Lunchtime.
He was trying to tell me that it wasn't necessary. I'm like, it's okay, have a nice day.
And I was like, it's not necessary. I appreciate the gesture, but it's really not necessary, and she was insistent.
You see, Calvert comes from a family of law enforcement. She says she notices attitudes change toward police.
It hits home. And then police, they're just doing their job.
She didn't really want to talk to us. That's not why she did this. But Patrol Officer Romer posted on social media.
It's just nice to share that stuff with friends and family. See a lot of negative stuff about law enforcement.
Calvert will tell you it's not a big deal.
If it makes somebody's day, that's all it was about.
But sometimes it is, just the little things.
She thought it'd make my day. Like you said, she thought I was having a rough day, and it was a little busy and hectic, and it did. It brought a smile to my face. I really appreciated it.
It's just a matter of showing respect. If you show respect, you gain it.